Dan. I'm here at the Pittsburgh Comicon 2011. I'm here with Marcel Walker, creator of Hero Corp, which is debuting at the Pittsburgh Comicon this year. Marcel, how's it going?
Hi, Dan. It's going good. Good to be here.
How's your weekend been so far at this show?
It's been fun. Today's been the most fun of the 3 days. I actually have a couple people here in costume from my book here, so that kind of helped pick things up a bit. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun hanging with everybody.
Now, for those who may not have read it, for the few that have not read Hero Corp yet, can you give us a little description of the Hero Corp?
Sure, absolutely. Well, Hero Corp, in a nutshell, it's a world full of super people, and it's set here in Pittsburgh, New Pittsburgh, the capital of champions, and it's based on myself and people I know. Pretty much all the people I know, my important people. Like this picture right here, that's me. Because, I'm humble like that. I put myself on the cover of my first issue. My friend's Wayne, who's standing over there. Hi. My friends Jamie, Tracy, and what's your name again? Oh, yeah, Callista, who's over there. They're all here today. And it's mostly, though, it's based on people I've worked with. So the big what if in the story is, what if super people were expected to get paid to be super? What if it was their jobs? And so you still have all the same archetypes that you do in every other comic book universe. My character, of course, equates to Superman. Tracy's character, she equates to Wonder Woman. Wayne, I guess, would equate to Reed Richards. There's all those archetypes, but they get paid because you have to get paid. So the moment these characters pop into being, a corporation swoops in. They take advantage of that, and that becomes the standard in that universe. So, that's our catch. And in this world, the super people are celebrities and law enforcement agents. They are government operatives of sorts, and you're dealing with all the same things that all of us deal with at work. They have bosses and managers and coordinators and all that same kind of fun stuff, paperwork. Yeah. Now,
speaking of work, you had a kind of a unique approach to creating this in that you were able to take a sabbatical from your job. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, the actual idea behind Hero Corp, like the concepts, had been floating around in my head for years. It's been well over 10 years since I initially came up with the idea, and then it just formulated over the years, but I never actively started to make a book. So I realized 2 years ago, 2009, I went to San Diego Comic-Con, and to just get my energies flowing and see what needed to be done and decide what I wanted to do. So I decided to finally do this book and work on heroes for the first time. So when I decided I was going to do it, I approached my bosses at work we have a sabbatical program, and I asked if I could apply for the program. And I did all the diligence beforehand because I had informally done this at a previous job. And they were fine, and they knew exactly what it was about because they were well aware of my art talents, and I've applied that in different ways at my job. And so I took a total of 6 weeks off to work on this, and then it took a couple weeks even after I went back to work to do the finishing and get it together. So it debuted last October at the Pittsburgh Independent Comics Expo, PIX. And so, but I had been here at the Pittsburgh Comicon last April promoting this as upcoming. So I definitely wanted to make it back this year because I know there's people who only get here, and I just felt like, that's the thing to do. Like we told everybody was going to be here, and it's here, so yeah.
Now, prior to Hero Corp, you've been pretty much a mainstay in the independent comic scene of Pittsburgh. What have you worked on, or what? I know you've had some teaching experience, so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my history with comics, so to speak, was something, of course, I always wanted to do. Literally since I was like 4 years old. I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh some years ago. I graduated late 80s, early 90s, and then I mostly freelanced right out of school, did a number of things. I went to work for the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts in the early 90s and did that for about 6 years. And I taught hundreds of students, including Eddie Pisker, he's around here today, who's working professionally in comics. I have a couple people who are here, Chris Smith. He was one of my informal students. Nate Johnson, who's over on the other side. There's a young man I was just talking to here a few minutes ago, Dan Jacko. He used to be a former student. I got a bunch of them floating around here today. They're all grown now. It's kind of weird. But I did that, and actually I'm glad I did that because teaching comics helped me learn comics even more. I thought I knew comics going in. I realized I had a lot more to learn by the time I was done. So teaching kids taught me a lot. I continued to freelance. It's funny that I'm considered a mainstay in Pittsburgh comics, considering really my output's been very small because I'm kind of a perfectionist about stuff. I really want things to be a certain way. My previous book before Hero Corp was Smoking Guns, and that was some years ago. But that's the one I'm mostly known for, and I actually stuck with that for quite some time, and at some point I will probably revisit that. And I've worked on a number of comics-related projects, including the Toonseum's North project a couple years ago, where I collaborated with my friend Wayne Wise, that guy. And then I've done a number of comic-related freelance projects that are not commercially available. I did some work for our local art agency, Blattner Bruner, related to comics because they liked my style. You know, it fit what they were doing. It was old school enough, basically. So, you know, I have work floating around out there. It's nice to be considered a mainstay, though, because I know, like, really my volume compared to somebody like our friend Barry Link, you know, who's kind of at the opposite end of that spectrum. He's got a ton of work as opposed to my little work, but, you know, got to stay in the community. It's all about, you know, being involved with your peers and everything.
So what's next for you as far as projects?
I'm going to stick with Hero Corp for the time being. That's my main project. So in issue 2, which I have started preliminary work on, and I will continue that. And actually that's very likely to pick up speed in the months ahead. So hopefully by the end of the year, we should have at least 2 more issues of that. So that's what, you know, I found it's helpful when you just set a deadline. You say, okay, I'm going to do this by this time. So we should be up to Hero Corp 3 by the end of the year.
Excellent. And if anyone is interested in checking out your work or getting a book or anything like that, where can they contact you?
I'm everywhere. I'm online, of course. You can go to herocorp.biz, B-I-Z. You can go on Facebook. If you type in Hero Corp, ML Walker's Hero Corp, I'll come up. You know, if you just type my name in the browser, one of my sites will come up. Ricochet Graphics. Ricochet Graphics is predominantly has Smoking Gun stuff on it, but you can still, you'll find me. That's the easy. Or you could go to Phantom of the Attic where Wayne works and pass along. Actually, that's a great hub, of course, for all of the local comics community. So, or the Toonseum, you know, any of those places. Yeah.
Nerd Love! Nerd Love!